Greetings, people. It's Mr. Pull the Trigger yet again on another episode of the Enlightenment series. I can tell you one thing for sure today, wherever you are. Where Omoto is, as we speak, each and every time that he wakes up, there's only one thing that he's praying for to his gods, and that is if Mr. Pull the Trigger can just stop talking about this missing child. If Mr. Pull the Trigger can just move on and forget about this whole incident of Ruth Matthew and the missing child. That's why he has done whatever that he did, if he did it to cause confusion and to try to bring different forces, pay bloggers, try to incite different perceptions and try to push different propagandas, which were aimed at attacking Ruth. And the sad part is so many people fell for it and so many people diverted from the main course. So many people diverted from the main purpose of this quest. Remember, the main conversation that we should be having is about testimony. Whoever and whatever that surrounds testimony, it's not so much important that we should give it life or we should give it more attention. If we find justice for testimony, anyone that is involved or anyone that made a mistake or anyone that should be persecuted, they should be. They should face the consequences of their negligence or anything that they did to contribute to the missing child. So this is probably my last time that I'm addressing anything that has to do with nothing concerning testimony. The conversation must be central on testimony because this is the child that is missing. This is the child that we are trying and fighting to seek justice for. As of today, we don't know where testimony is. One thing we know for sure is testimony is alive. In Jeremiah's confession, which he tried to package as a prophecy, he confirmed it to us that the boy is alive. For real, the boy is alive. That's no longer the argument now. Prior to his confession, we thought maybe the boy was sacrificed. Because in these occultic ministries, in these prophetic shrines, sacrificial offerings are always given to the gods. And these sacrificial offerings, they mainly target young ones. They mainly target young children, especially boys, so that they can further their occultic advancements. So that was our first, perception about what could have happened to the boy. We thought he was sacrificed. But now that Jeremiah came and made a confession, he gave a confession that what if the boy comes out? What are you going to do? Are you going to help us celebrate? He knew that he knows where the boy is. You people, you listened to this and some of you just don't want to admit what you heard. In as much as he came and then he defended and then he diverted from the initial confession that he had given, that he did not mean that the boy will be found or the boy will come out, but he meant that there will be confusion or there will be good news. What good news is there about the confusion that he spoke about? The only good news that he prophesied to was the coming back of testimony. But after he was advised about bringing back this child, about releasing this child, that's when he realized that he'll probably be in more mess than just being labeled as a false prophet. So there's probably one or two reasons why he can't release testimony now. In as much as he wants to, he wishes to. He really wants to release testimony so that this conversation can die. But he's skeptical. He's afraid. He's not stable right now. He does not know. He can't predict the outcome of what might happen. And one of the main reasons why he changed his mind, the biggest reason why Jeremiah changed his mind and withdrew from releasing the boy, even though the boy is still in his custody, is because, remember, when this young man was abducted, this young boy was abducted, testimony, he was only 2 years and 5 months old. Now it's about 2.5 years down the line, which means testimony is 5 years old now. And now testimony is in a position to give a testimony because definitely testimony will be asked what happened. Testimony can tell you the full story now. No, we were staying at this particular camp in this particular house with other children. No, it was a lot of us. I met a lot of friends. You see? So testimony now is a bigger risk because it's going to expose the entire syndicate of these young boys that are being abducted, of these young boys that are being taken away from the society, from their families, and they are being put in some sort of a private, secured place whereby they groom them, whereby they make them, they brainwash them, they turn them into machines. I don't know what they do with them. Or maybe they'll sacrifice them. At the end of the day, we don't know why they are grooming them in whatever place that they are. Because there's one thing I can tell you, one thing I can promise you. Wherever testimony is not alone. Wherever testimony is not alone. So I don't know who's watching me. I don't know if you're a mother from Wari, if you're a mother from Nigeria, and you lost your child, and you thought he was abducted by people that wanted to sacrifice him. I can tell you one thing for sure. Your child is also probably still alive. These young kids are probably put in some place whereby no one can access them, where they are programming them, where they are turning them into some things that they would want to use in the future or for future purposes. Or they are preparing them or waiting to sacrifice them. We don't know the agenda, the reason why they are holding these kids hostage, or the reasons why they are abducting kids and keeping them in a secure location. And one thing I can promise you, Testimony is probably a happy boy right now. He's excited, he's enjoying, he's playing. The only thing that they probably do right now is to watch Jeremiah's TV channel. That's the only thing that they're probably still exposed to, so that they grow up believing that this is our God. This is, we offer our allegiance to Prophet Jeremiah Omoto because this is the real man of God that God sent. So we don't know. All these are assumptions. This is what I'm thinking. So in the comment section, also enlighten me. Also share with me your ideas. Why you think they're keeping these boys? Because he's not alone. He's not alone wherever he is. It's probably a group of boys, young boys, that are just kept in one big room or in one big compound. And they are brainwashed, they are reprogrammed, and they are being turned into things that we don't know. That's the most painful part. Even if Testimony comes back now, he will not recognize his mother. He might not even want to be reunited with his family, because he's probably been exposed to a life that he will not be able to live with his original family. One thing for sure is they are having everything that they need, but we don't know why they are being kept. At the end of the day, the boy still deserves to be reunited with the family. These are Jeremiah's subjects. They're like rats in a lab. They're just waiting for their fate, and they don't know what their fate is. So if Testimony comes out now, he's going to tell us. He's going to tell us what he has been up to for the past 2.5 years. And Testimony will be the one that will give a testimony that will expose Jeremiah. So he does not know now how to handle a situation like this. How can he make the boy lose memory? They don't know. So he's on the verge now of losing everything. And on the other half of him is saying, no, release the boy. But there's much bigger risk in releasing the boy now, because he'll come and tell us everything. And we'll know what has been happening, or what is happening, and what is going on. So what do we do now is the biggest question. We are faced with a devil that is willing to do anything to suppress justice for this boy. The devil is willing to make sure that this boy does not get justice. This boy is not freed. How do we deal with a situation like this? How do we handle this? Let's put our minds together, because at the end of the day, we are getting that boy back. One thing for sure is we are getting Testimony back, no matter what it takes. If it means Jeremiah has to be behind bars for us to get Testimony, for us to get justice for Testimony, we'll do it. He might not have to answer in any Nigerian court, but Jeremiah will be deposed, and he will have to answer and explain as to what happened to Testimony. And do you know why the CCTV cameras were not working on that particular day? That is, if they were not working. The only reason the CCTV can be pronounced to not have been working is because they knew they had an operation that had to be carried out on that particular day. They had their agents that had to do this operation, this covert operation. That's why the CCTV were not working. The specific CCTV that were covering the specific area where this operation was being conducted are the ones that are said to not working. So do you think all this is a coincidence? That on this specific day, the gate CCTV is not working? How long does it take to fix a CCTV camera? And to the people in the control room, There's no way that they can be administering or monitoring the security of the church if the gate one is not operating. They would rather have the one that is inside not work, but the one at the entrance, it's a priority of all the CCTV cameras. Because this is the first camera that dictates any threat to their men of God. The one at the entrance is the main priority of, surveillance that they cannot risk to have it not working on any single day. They would rather swap them and put the one that works at the entrance. So the question is, for how long was it not working? And it can't be for a day. It can never be for a day. They can never risk it. Because they need to know who's entering the premises, who's exiting. Is the man of God arriving? Has he left? Are there no threats around? That's what their security is all about. Because they always think these men of God are under threat. That's why they have 10 bodyguards, policemen following them. They always believe they are under threat. So do you think they will be negligent not to have a CCTV camera at the entrance to monitor who comes into Mercy City and who leaves? It's not logical. It's not making sense, it's not adding up. There's no logic behind all this. It's just a narrative, it's just a response or a statement that was given to just, push everything away to say, so you don't have a case because there's no footage. But then it still has to be justified. They still have to answer. Then prove it beyond no reasonable doubt that indeed it was not working. And if it was not working, why was it not working? What was the error? There must be a report somehow. The technicians, the IT guys, they must explain. So if anyone involved in this has to be deposed, all of them, they will have to answer as to what transpired during this day. I don't know if you get where I'm coming from and where I'm going. That any response that we get from the Jeremiah people is not making any sense. It's only implicating them more. Because this was an operation that was well planned, well staged. Or the CCTV was working. The footage was maybe extracted and they still have it. Someone has it amongst them. Or maybe should we offer a reward to someone who can get us this footage? $1 million maybe. It's worth it. From the people inside, if you're watching this, if you know a businessman somewhere out there who can bring us a reward offer to people who can help us locate this baby, please contact them. Call Dangote, tell him we have a situation here. We need someone who can bankroll this project. Because everything that is being done, everything that they do, these people, it's all about money. So let's also use money to get the truth out of this situation. Let's put $1 million as a reward to anyone who gives us information concerning this matter. Because we need information about where the boy is. We need information about the CCTV footage. Because there's a missing child here. That's what people are not putting into consideration. That's why Berekete can come and make reckless utterances. That's why he cannot even own up to explain about the missing child. But keep on castigating Ruth as a crippled woman. But they forget that there's a missing child. If there are mothers watching me here, I'm sure you can relate to the pain that Ruth is feeling. I'm sure most of you can relate to what Ruth lost. She lost a child. And if there's anything that should be taken serious, it's finding justice for this child. Not for Ruth. Forget about Ruth. She made her mistakes, it's fine. But still, there's a child in question. If we were in Europe, if this was not Africa and this happened in another country outside Africa, Jeremiah could have been behind bars long time ago. A long time ago. You see how dysfunctional our African communities are. Our African law systems are. Law enforcement systems are. They are not consistent. They are standing in for those that have money. The vulnerable will always be the victims, and they will never get justice. If we don't get this story right, if we don't get justice for testimony, we have failed as a people. It's not me who would have failed. It's all of us. Because so many people are going through what testimony is going through. So many people. not just testimony. So many people are bleeding, are crying out there, but they are afraid to come out and challenge the system. Because it's true, everyone around Jeremiah is afraid to say anything that can help us to find this boy. Because they'll be doing that at the expense of their lives. They'll be doing that at the expense of their lives unless we can offer a way to get them out of the country. But that's the reality as well. People are afraid to take the risk. Because Jeremiah will come after you. They are mafias, these people. They'll do everything to protect their images and their evil doings. So there are many things that are going to be put into question, that we are going to put into question, no matter how much he may try to distance himself from the issue of the missing child. We have a specific lady again called Juliet. There's so much information that I have not yet brought to the table because I was hoping Jeremiah was going to be honorable enough to tell us where the child is or to release the child. But he has seen that he's trying to take chances now. What he's doing now is taking chances. He's trying to see now and calculate how far this will go. He's expecting it to die a natural death. But I can promise him otherwise. He'll be in for a rude awakening. What will hit him, you will not see it. By the time he gets hit, he will regret not releasing this boy earlier. The more he delayed, the more he's making life complicated for himself. There is no getting out of this. There isn't. And I don't have to be a Nigerian or to be in Nigeria to fight this. Like I said, there's this particular lady called Juliet that we have not yet brought to question. Juliet is the young lady that is responsible for the children's section where these kids were abducted. And Juliet was seen in the parts of the testimony that I have not yet played for you from Triumph and Ruth. Juliet was seen liaising and talking with these two ladies before they approached Ruth. And Juliet refused to go and give a statement to the police station. There's no statement for Juliet because Juliet was protected by Jeremiah Omoto. And I can promise you and tell you one thing for sure now. It will be difficult for us to locate Juliet because Juliet knows these two women. She knows them. They spoke first before they approached Ruth. To even put other things into perspective, as big as Mercy City is, Jeremiah's shrine is. So do you think these desperate women, these two women that took the children, do you think they could not have asked Juliet where to buy Indomie? And remember, Indomie is sold within the Mercy City. It is not outside. But these two women, they took the kids outside. Listen, there's still more to talk about. So I was asking, do you think these women would not ask Juliet where to buy Indomie? Would not go and ask the security where to buy Indomie? Would not ask anyone else, but ask Ruth, a crippled woman with 3 children around her, small babies, because they knew if they asked Ruth, Ruth was not going to be the one to go and show them. Ruth was going to maybe deploy the little ones to go and show them. It was all psychological, so they had to first make an impression with Juliet. They spoke with Juliet. They wanted to psychologically manipulate Ruth because Ruth could obviously be observing that, so these people are family. So there's no risk involved here. She was programmed already before these two women approached her. Ruth was programmed, so everything that she did afterwards, it was all based on faith to say, no, these are our sisters. We all belong to this church. There can't be any threat. I can even send Triumph or Testimony alone to take with them. There's no way they can take my children away. So they spoke with Juliet first, or they were just stage managing it. Because that's what they do. They stage manage everything. They cook everything behind the scenes. Just to give confidence to Ruth. Subconsciously, Ruth captured that memo, that incident, that scene. And she believed it without believing that she trusted them. She trusted these two women before they even approached her. They cleared this stranger mentality whilst they were talking to Juliet and laughing together and giggling together. By the time they approached Ruth, Ruth was already programmed. She had already believed that these are our sisters. We are together in this. By the time they asked for directions, Ruth was compliant. No, it's there. If you don't know it, Testimony, Triumph, go and show them. And it's within Mercy City. It was an operation that was well calculated. Things that you have not yet thought about and analyzed and speculated. Where is Juliet? Why did she refuse to go and give a statement? Why didn't she give a statement? She knows these women. There's a lot that we are going to be digging deeper, and we are going to fight until testimony comes back. So with that being said, it's Mr. Pull the Trigger. I'll check you out on the next episode of the Enlightenment series. I'm out.